Welcome to College Football Monday, a Sons of Saturday live show brought to you by Jack and Coke. You can see that Jack and Coke can right on your screen. I'm your host, PP. I've got Sam Jesse here. And this is College Football Monday. It's our national show. We come to you each and every week to not only update you on the Hokies, but go around the country and get into everything that happened in college football. We're going to recap all the week 4 action, including a conversation with our very own Billy Ray Mitchell in about 25 minutes or so. We'll also go over what happened in Blacksburg on Saturday. We finally got a win, Sam. That was nice. Why don't you kick us off with a cheers?
How about a victory? Cheers, Pete. Wow. They said we couldn't do it.
They said we were going 0-12.
The haters were wrong. Virginia Tech is not going 0-12. And I'll tell you what, too, this is our national show, so we'll talk about nationally. This weekend's slate of games from Friday night to Saturday night, oh boy.
Yeah.
It's a doozy. Cheers,
it's a real
man.
big one. Cheers, buddy. If you have any questions, hop in the chat. Make sure to like the video, subscribe. You're probably all watching on YouTube. If you're watching on X, come on over to YouTube. Get a comment in, get a like in. We'd really appreciate that. We're on a march to 5,000 subscribers. We've had a ton of new subscribers since all the stuff went down, 0-3, and then the firing and everything else. So we're getting closer and closer to 5,000, which is humbling and amazing. But for now, Sam, let's jump into week 4 because there was a lot of good quality football and then some bad football that's left Gundy, Pittman, Fickle, maybe all on the hot seat, maybe about to be fired. I mean, what are your thoughts on some of those hot seats, particularly the Fickle one?
I mean, I put out a tweet a few days ago, and I was just listing off these programs, and it was like, this coaching search, this cycle, the carousel, could be one of the craziest that we've had in recent memory in college football. And like Luke Fickle at Wisconsin, I mean, Wisconsin is an insanely desirable job. Not only do you have the Big Ten money, but you have insane fan support. You have a history of winning. You are by far and away the biggest program in your state. Like that is a huge, huge job.
Yeah.
How is that going to change Florida, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Oklahoma State? How do all of those play together? And hey, once one of those opens up, like somebody's going to poach a coach from another big school. Like we saw it with DeBoer leaving Washington, who just played in the Natty, going to Alabama.
Yeah, there will be an unexpected poaching.
Yes.
That no one saw coming. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even include Napier in that list because he's already on the hot seat. And with the way their season's about to play out, like they're going to take a ton of losses. And
I think you could count him as done. I think you could count like Fickle is weird because he just signed an extension this offseason.
And like he was the golden boy coming out of Cincinnati, the playoffs, all that stuff. And it's just gone bad so quickly. I mean, the Maryland drubbing them.
They have zero identity as a team. Absolutely zero. And Maryland's not a good team.
I mean, I will say this. I did not expect this. Maryland has a top 20 SP plus defense.
I mean, I bet they do now. Goodness.
Yeah. So Gundy, though, that was ugly. Him losing to Tulsa, that's probably it for him.
Yeah, he's done. Adios.
And Pittman, we'll talk about the Memphis game. We'll get to that. ACC moving to 9 conference games, Sam. This was kind of inevitable, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, we heard rumblings about this a couple years ago even, and that was one of the reasons that Virginia Tech decided, hey, we maybe need to get in some talks with Old Dominion because we can't keep doing this for much longer. And now they definitely can't keep doing this for much longer. I think it is a positive move for the conference because now you don't have as many non-conference losses. I mean, you already have big rivalry games with the SEC and with some other conferences. Now you get to, I think, kind of focus those non-conference matchups a little bit more. Virginia Tech can play West Virginia, Tennessee, South Carolina, those kind of teams, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it'll focus ACC ADs a little bit more in their scheduling, and we'll see a little bit less of the haphazard G5 series.
Yeah. When I saw this news, I was like, well, it's fewer out-of-conference games for us to lose, so that's nice.
Yeah. Maybe the Hokies will beat VMI next year.
Because I didn't even mean just the Hokies, but yes, the Hokies, but all ACC schools. We're kind of taking it on the chin right now, and you will have to focus because you have to pick a P4. They want 10 games against power conferences. So the 10th will be an out of conference against a P4 or Notre Dame. And then you'll have likely a G5 and then an FCS potentially, or another G5, you know, something like that. But anyway, moving on to the AP poll, Miami up to number 2. You can make a case that they should be number 1.
I was about to say, like, you can make a really strong case that's the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think, like, you can make a case for them. You can make it for Oklahoma. You can make it for Ohio State, obviously. Like, there is a triumvirate of potential number 1 teams up there right now.
Yeah, Oklahoma moves up 4 spots to number 7. Indiana up to number 11 after their beatdown of Illinois, which we'll talk about. And then Texas Tech up to 12 after going into Rice-Eccles and getting a dominating win. Sam's wearing the Q-zip. Red Raider Nation.
I mean, many laughed when my model had them number 1 in the country. Many laughed. We will talk about that game.
Who's laughing now?
Who's laughing now? I know.
I also wanted to point out the hat I'm wearing is from White Elephant Brewing, or I should say White Elephant Beer Company. I've got a hat for Sam here too. They sent me 2 hats. This is from Taylor. Really great guy, Hokie. This place is in Mount Airy, North Carolina. It's White Elephant Beer Company and New River Brewing. I think those are the 2 things that are, you know, the brewing company and then the, you know, some people go by 2 names, 1 name, but I really appreciate the group of swag that he sent. Taylor, we really appreciate it, man. I'll be sharing it with Sam, some stickers. We got a glass, 2 great hats. I love this camo hat. Much appreciated, dude. Have the best listeners, man. I've said it year after year, but they send us all kinds of cool stuff over the years.
It continually blows my mind that people even listen to us, Pete.
You're telling me, dude. And last week was our best week of all time. So how about that? We should fire coaches.
We really should.
Every week, let me get a new coach. That'll help the numbers. Anyway, we will get to Clemson when we add BRM to the thread, because I might hit that off the top, but I want to wait for him. Let's talk Texas Tech. They stifle Utah 34-10. Defensive battle for a while in this one. Morton got knocked out of the game after 2 interceptions. Dampier was throwing interceptions. It was 10-3 Texas Tech through 3 quarters, but the 4th was a much different story. After Utah made it 10-13, Texas Tech scored on 3 straight possessions. Their defense had nothing left. 34-10 was the final. And one of the biggest stories coming out of this, Sam, is the backup for Texas Tech might be the new starter.
Will Hammond, man, just came out of nowhere. And this is one of the things about Texas Tech, because we know Baron Morton has an injury history. They didn't go out and get anybody in the portal as a backup. Maybe it's because they believed in him. I mean, that guy was unbelievable. And Utah's defense had no answer for him. He was commanding the offense, making big throws. This was a really surprising result for me, not because Texas Tech won, because I think Texas Tech is just flat out the more talented team, but because outside of like 2 interceptions thrown on deep balls, Texas Tech kind of dominated this game. They did. It really wasn't particularly close.
I mean, Dampier was pretty much terrible. He was 25 of 38, which is way too many pass attempts for a guy like that. 162 yards on 38 attempts. That's a 4.3 yards per attempt. The 2 interceptions, a 51 QBR. He couldn't run either, which is a staple of what he does.
Yeah.
Only 263 yards of offense for Utah and 4 total turnovers. Just
4 yards per play. I mean, that's not going to get it done. And we said this about Devin Dampier coming out of New Mexico. He is a phenomenal athlete and a great runner. He's not the best downfield passer. And when he got into a game like this, how is he going to play? Because the weapons at Utah are not that great. Like athletically, they do not stack up against the defenders from the Big 12. And you saw it today. Texas Tech has one of the biggest, most athletic defenses in that conference. Definitely the best defensive line in that conference. Utah, I don't think had the skill position players to just like whip the ball out really quick and get it to them. Like they didn't have that aspect of their offense on Saturday. They'll have to find that if they want to compete for the Big 12 title.
Texas Tech had 14 penalties for 142 yards. And they smoked
Rice-Eccles, man.
and they smoked them still. I know the
Crowd did their job.
They could not get like the snaps going. They were using an audible count, which the announcers remarked on. It's like, what are you doing going to Rice Eccles and trying to use an audible count or an audio, an auditory count, whatever you want to call it.
While we're on the topic of Rice Eccles, which I still have as my number one home field advantage in the country statistically over since the playoff.
We need to talk
11
about
years.
this. Yes.
5 consecutive Big 12 losses at home.
Mm-hmm.
That is unprecedented in the history of like Utah football. Like you have to go back to the 90s to see a run like that.
I was going to bring up because 2 years ago, I had Sam on College Football Monday when he wasn't even doing the show with me. We talked about his model and all this kind of stuff. And Utah's home field advantage was number 1 in the sport, according to Sam's model. And I agreed with that. I mean, you could see it over a long period of time. They dominated at home, and it is just nowhere to be found right now.
I think it has a lot more to do with the guys suiting up to play ball. To be honest, I don't think last year and this year, they don't have the skill position talent that you would expect from that program that actually recruits pretty well. They just don't look explosive on the outside. And like their defensive backs are good. They're hardy, but there were points in this game where you were like, oh, Texas Tech is at a different athletic level than Utah is right now.
Has NIL taken a toll on Utah?
I don't have enough.
Or is it more of Whittingham getting a little past his prime?
I think this is more of a case of this Texas Tech team is built a lot more like an SEC team than a Big 12 team. And you saw it right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what it was for me. Utah is going to be fine. Like Utah might go 10-2 this year.
They could.
That's still a really good team. But I think you just saw here why I was so high on the Red Raiders coming into this season. The line of scrimmage is just at a different level than everybody else in the Big 12. And that's where it showed there.
To your point on Utah, I mean, they were in this game. They were in the game. They weren't doing a whole lot on offense, and it felt like Texas Tech was going to win. And then they opened it up at the end. But Utah was absolutely in the game for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't make anything happen offensively. But this has to move Texas Tech to the top of the Big 12 on everyone's board at this point. I mean, money does buy wins sometimes, Sam.
And they've been kind of building for this over the last few years too. Like it wasn't just the transfer portal this year. They've been developing guys over the last few years. They were a much better team than their record last year. They lost a lot of stupid close games because of stuff like all those penalties. If they can clean up the procedural stuff, this is a really, really good team. How do we feel? So if Will Hammond does get the starting nod, although I thought Baron Morton was playing really well, he had a couple of bad decisions in this game, but he has been playing really well. How do we feel about whipping Willie Hammond, the gunslinger in Lubbock, Texas?
It's hard to say, oh, he should definitely be the starter after just one half or whatever it is. But there were questions about Morton before the year. He has injury concerns. And this injury he got cracked as he was heading to the ground. His head came back, slammed on the turf. I mean, that's just unfortunate. So I'm not going to say that's injury prone.
Right.
He slid head first and got cracked. But I don't know, man. It's a tough decision they got to make going forward. But they got 2 good quarterbacks is what I would say. And that's a good spot to be in.
Will Hammond was 13 of 16 for 169 yards, 2 tutties, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks.
96 QBR.
Ridiculous.
Good day. Oklahoma over Auburn 24-17. Norman, like Rice Eccles, was loud as hell for this one. Stadium was going nuts most of the game. The defenses were locked in early. Despite a lot of sloppy play, I thought the defenses were causing a lot of that. Balls were hitting the turf. But OU put up a TD 20 minutes in to make it 10-3. Auburn tied it 10-10 and the back shoulder throw by Arnold. Oklahoma kicked 2 field goals, went up 16-10. But then Auburn, they came down. They got a touchdown. They take a 1-point lead on that sweep play. But Mateer got it done. There was a controversial call on the sideline. They overturn the catch to, what is it, Santana. And then Mateer ran it in. They go up 22-17. And then the OU defense, which had been suffocating, continued, got to safety. It's 24-17. And the game was over. I come away like pretty impressed with Auburn, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I mean, this is not the Auburn team that we've seen the last few years. They are really good. The issue is Oklahoma is really, really good too. And 10 sacks is
I saw
unbelievable.
it as 14 tackles for loss. I saw 9 and a safety. So I don't know how that, what, depending on where you look, it was a dominating defensive performance. And Auburn still was able to put up points, turned it over here and there, and still like they were in, they had a lead, with like 7 minutes left.
Yeah, I think that's where kind of the home field advantage really took over in this game. And, fun fact, Bryce Eccles, number 1, Gaylord Memorial, number 2, my home field advantage. Like Oklahoma is unreal at home compared to on the road is where they get upset. They rarely get upset at home. I think that was a big difference in this game. John Mateer does have this, Johnny Oklahoma. He's got a little bit of that Manziel in him in these games. He can just make stuff happen. Oklahoma's defense is probably the best in the country right now.
It's got to be.
And I think Auburn is, if that's a national championship level defense, which we think it is, Auburn is like just a step below that. And I'm sorry for the Tigers fans, but I think that's going to be the story of Auburn season. Like I could see Auburn losing 5 games just like this.
Yeah. Mateer had 270, 2 total touchdowns. He was their leading rusher because
they couldn't run the ball.
They could not run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Centennial was amazing. 9 receptions for 127 and a touchdown. But I do credit Auburn, as I said. In that road environment, they looked pretty good. A little undisciplined. Again, 13 penalties for Auburn. Just 3 of 15 on third down. But what are you going to do when you're in Norman? Cam Coleman and Singleton are beasts for Auburn on the outside. Like they got some dudes that can play, and Arnold looks pretty good too. Like Oklahoma, to finish this out, they look good enough to be in the playoff. Clearly, The problem continues to be the schedule. The end of the schedule is so tough, and I wonder if Mateer is going to have this magic every week.
Because they have to find a way for him not to have that. Like they need a couple games where he can just distribute the ball and they win, because it's too much to ask for him to do this every week. Although I thought you saw in the game against Michigan, sometimes their defense will be so good that the offense just kind of needs to be average. And so I think they might have some of those games coming up, but yeah, that schedule is pretty brutal. But if anybody can make the playoffs with a 9-3 record, it's Oklahoma.
Yeah, true. Michigan beats Nebraska. Speaking of Oklahoma, because they have a win over Michigan. Michigan goes down to Lincoln, wins 30-27. And this game wasn't as close as the score, in my opinion. Nebraska scored on a Hail Mary at the end of the first half to tie it at 17. But Michigan generally dominated the lines of scrimmage as far as my eye. Their run game was on point, and Raiola, similar to Auburn, was under pressure all day. He took 7 sacks. Michigan was up 10 with 4 minutes left after a field goal. And I gave Raiola credit because he took them down the field too to make it 30-27, but that was it. Are you comfortable saying that this Michigan team is way better than last year's team?
Yeah. I mean, they're way better. I mean, Bryce Underwood is significantly better. I think defensively, they're just as good as they've always been. Like they got dudes. I'm not really scared of their offense outside of Underwood making plays.
Yeah, their wide receivers have a lot of drops.
Not good. I think this game, though, for me, Michigan did what they were supposed to do in this game. We know they're good defensively, and we know Underwood is good, and they're going to be a good team. Nebraska, I'm not impressed with any part of their team. I was thinking about this. Dylan Raiola, he is some NFL scout is going to fall so in love with him. Who is the quarterback from BYU who went to the Jets? And Zach Wilson.
Blanking
on Zach Wilson. Thank you. He's going to be Zach Wilson, where every college football fan is screaming at the top of their lungs, "Don't do it! Don't do it!" He's not.
And the Jets are going to take him,
and he's going to look amazing in pro days. Oh my god! You know who he reminds me of, maybe more than Zach Wilson? Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Yeah.
Spencer Rattler.
Yeah,
He's got all the flair. He's got all the
he's
talent.
bigger, but yes, I agree with like the arm talent and like the flashiness and all that kind of stuff.
And it's like he's going to make the most ridiculous throw to bring the game within 2 touchdowns. It's like I don't think you can, with how he plays the game right now, I don't think Nebraska can win big games.
Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to do the full Fornelli, like, because Tom Fornelli went on a rant about Raiola.
Fornelli went off.
And if you look at Raiola, like, I understand what Tom's saying. He's saying, like, he plays a ton of off schedule. He's just throwing the ball at all these weird angles. He's trying to be Patrick Mahomes. He's trying to be Johnny Manziel, whatever. But, like, he has 177 passer rating. He has a 77 QBR on the year. Like, he is a good quarterback.
Good.
He's just not, like, maybe extra good. And he's annoying because of the Mahomes thing, I guess. But, like, this was a tough loss for Huskers fans because it was there. They could have won it, but they were never – I never thought they were going to win it. Like, I really did. And Michigan was running the ball all over them. Michigan had 290 yards rushing. I mean, they were running for 9.4 yards a carry. It was bang, 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 big play. Bang, 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 big play. Like, they were just getting it done. And Underwood goes on the road as a true freshman into that sea of red and gets the win. I mean, that's really impressive stuff.
I took a flyer on Nebraska money line just for the spot. And I was like, maybe Raiola will have it. And maybe this defense will step up and get just enough stops. You're right. It never really, early in the game, I believe Nebraska's first drive, they had a 4th down. It was like 4th and 1.5. They decided to go for it first drive of the game. And they ran like a shovel pass into what ended up being like the 3 gap right at the teeth of Michigan's defense that was lined up for it. And I'm like, dude, you just said, I'm not going to go for an easy chip shot field goal. I'm going to go for it on 4th. And I'm going to run right at their NFL defensive lineman and linebacker. Like, dude, that wasn't smart. And it was like, from that moment, Michigan had all the momentum for the game, was in control the whole game. Yeah. That was a big mistake, I think.
Dude, Haynes from Michigan. They just turn out these running backs, man. 149 yards rushing for him.
Dude, the kid they got from Louisa in Virginia is insane. Yeah. He's the next one up. It's crazy.
Big win for the Wolverines. All right, let's move on to Memphis, coming back to beat Arkansas 32-31. Memphis was down 31-20 with less than 20 minutes left. Started ripping off some big plays. They got the 64-yard run by Sutton Smith, who had a great game. That was with under 5 minutes left to take the 1-point lead. Memphis then punched the ball out of their hands inside the 10. So Arkansas looks like they're going down to get this W. Talon Green is doing his thing. And then they punched the ball out. And like on our thread, Sam, like the text was like, ball is out, ball is out.
I had Memphis money line. They got that touchdown. And I said, cash out, cash out, cash out, because Talon Green has not been stopped all day. He's going to march down the field. They're going to kick a field goal. And it looked like that was going to happen. And then Memphis got that one moment. And you've been on Memphis since preseason. I might be around you. Offensively, they are so explosive. Their defensive line has dudes. I don't think they are at the same level that Boise State was last year in terms of like, I think they can hang with the best with a Penn State or something. But I don't know many American teams that have looked better than them.
Yeah, they've looked really good.
That was
right
impressive.
Up there with USF. I mean, Tulane and USF have looked good, but now they've both taken losses. Memphis is undefeated. They get their 4th straight win over a P4 team. Not this year, but over the last 2 years.
Could be nice.
Silverfield is doing an amazing job. Someone that we both like.
Yeah. And flip side of this quesadilla, though, Arkansas's defense might be horrific. Well, Memphis ran for 290 yards. Yeah.
Just like Michigan. I mean, Michigan ran for that same amount as Memphis did on an SEC defense, 7.1 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns rushing. Lewis, their quarterback, went for 100 yards rushing. In addition to Smith, I mean, Smith had 147 on 12 carries. Just ridiculous production out of them.
Arkansas might be bad defensive,
but they're not a bad team.
No,
they should have won that game.
Arkansas
screwed it
overs
up.
might be a system play for the rest of the year.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
I
I
don't
could see
think they're
that.
very interested in stopping anybody.
I see our guest in the green room, so I'm going to add him to the screen as we're finishing up Memphis talk here. Billy Ray Mitchell joins the stream. How you doing, Billy?
Gentlemen, I gotta give my props. I gotta give my props. A couple years ago, you mentioned starting the show. It's turned into something awesome. I watch this every single Monday. You guys do an awesome job. Excited to be here. I can't remember the last time I've been on here.
Yeah, it must have been middle of the year or something last year. I think we talked some Ohio State with Casey.
Mhm.
But yeah, this was a great weekend of college football. We got another good one coming up. And we're finishing up our talk on Memphis. To you, Bill, do they look like the G5 favorite to come into the playoff and take that spot?
Man, I'll tell you what. I haven't watched enough G5 this year. I did watch the Arkansas Memphis game the other day. It's really preposterous that Arkansas lost that game, given that they fumbled it and then also had a chance to still win it at the end of the game. I feel so bad for Sam Pittman because I really like him. But the more I'm starting to see a little chatter that Old Dominion could be up for that playoff spot. And at first I kind of dismissed it. And then with how well Indiana played last week and how well they played against Indiana and how well they played against us. And this is really the first time Ricky Ronnie has an answer at the quarterback position. So I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm not saying it's totally outlandish to think that they can make the playoff. They'll have to win a bunch more games, but I think it's more open than it's been than I can remember in a while.
I don't think Ricky Ronnie's ever finished over 500 in Sunbelt play.
Hmm.
Probably not.
And I agree with you. Their quarterback is good. I think this is their best roster in a long time for ODU.
Hmm.
And hey, if they actually do make the playoff, that would at least make the beatdown they put on us look a little bit better. So I
That's
would
right.
take that. Miami runs over Florida 26-7. They got off to a hot start. It's 13-0, and it looked like they were going to roll, but Florida's defense, which is top notch, settled in and they kept it close. It was 13-0 at the half still. Then it was 13-7. And Florida got that interception on what was a kind of a poorly thrown ball by Beck. And Miami fans had to be shitting their pants because they had dominated the game. And all of a sudden, Florida's down only 6 points, but it didn't happen. Miami went into bully mode. They ran it over and over and over again until they were in the end zone. They got another turnover on downs from Florida, ended up 26-7. It wasn't Carson Beck's best night, Bill, but
No.
I would say that he didn't have to have his best night because of what they were doing on the offensive line.
You know what is the storyline for me, though, is Miami's front seven, Miami's defensive line. We heard all offseason that their defensive line was really good, and they haven't had a really good D-line like this in a long time. This is a really solid – for all of Florida's flaws, they have a really solid offensive line. This Miami defense, they had 7 tackles for losses and 4 sacks against Florida and kind of just dominated the football game. And it was a weird game, man. It finishes 26-7, but at one point it was 13-7. It wasn't really in the balance, but it wasn't a blowout per se. So look, this Miami team checks a lot of boxes that other Miami teams that were really talented have not before. And I'm not going to go as far as to say they're the best team in the country, as a lot of people are saying, but this is not the Miami that I think we have gotten used to over the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, Miami's average starting field position in this game was the 40-yard line. That's how dominant their defense was for most of this game.
They were dominant. They really were.
In the rain, I mean, it was pouring rain. Turns out it rains a lot in South Florida in September. But this Miami team, like said Bill, right? They're different. They're built on the line of scrimmage. They got NFL players everywhere. Their defensive backs, it is night and day from what we saw last year. They couldn't cover anybody. This year, they have a blanket over everybody. Carson Beck, buddy, sometimes you just got to hand the ball off because they got a stable of running backs. They have elite pass catchers on the outside.
They do.
We said this though. Pete, we nailed this. We said Carson Beck. Everybody's making fun of him because everybody doesn't like the girlfriend situation, and he's a little weird. He looks like Sid the Sloth. But he went to a conference where teams are not as talented as the teams he played against. His teams are way more talented than every team they're going to play against. and he just has to go out and not be awful, and he'll win games. And I actually think he has the ability to play above average in most games that he plays at. So I think this is a great decision for him.
I mean, he's playing a good defense. This is a really good defense that Florida has. And he didn't play his best, but he didn't have to, and he will have good games. He's had good games already this year. And like, we were higher on Beck than I think some others were. I mean, I'm not going to create fake opponents to our takes, but I think a lot of people were down on him because he had the surgery, because he was leaving Georgia. But like, Shannon Dawson's a really good OC, and he gets to come in there the year after they have the number one offense, plug right in with all this skill talent, and it's awesome. And the defense thing, let's put a bow on this. How many third downs did Florida convert in this game? Don't look it up. How many do you think they did? There was 13 attempts. How many did they convert? 0 is the answer.
0?
0 for 13. 0 for 13 on third down.
That's crazy.
And they were 3 of 6 on fourth down. They went for it on fourth down 6 times. They only got it 3 times. There's a lot of turnover on downs here.
I have such a hard time.
Just go on, Billy Ray.
No, I have such a hard time explaining the Billy Napier situation, because I look at the way, and I hear from others the way that he built his program, and it's like, it seems like he did everything right. Like, he has a Heisman caliber talented quarterback. He has hired pretty well. He's in a great spot. He's recruited well enough. Like, it just, and then you hear today, this is Florida's worst start since the year the Mets won the World Series, 1986, which is crazy to think about. And the rest of their schedule is brutal. Like, the rest of their schedule is no joke. They're literally staring 1-5 in the face.
I think they have the hardest schedule left. I mean, in the SEC.
They had the hardest schedule last year.
So, and Lagway stinks right now. I mean, he might have the talent to be a Heisman caliber quarterback, but he is not doing it. 12 of 23 for 61 passing yards in this thing.
Miami should have strength of schedule.
Yeah, go ahead.
Has a quarterback faced a tougher defensive schedule than Carson Beck? Notre Dame, South Florida, and Florida? Because that South Florida defense flies around. And he's had to face Notre Dame and Florida.
You could put Michigan up there maybe, because they've played 2 really tough road games. And that's hard going up against defenses on the road.
I mean, like, this Miami's like, we this happens all the time with Miami. They play Bethune-Cookman and Florida International.
Score 70 points.
And they blow them out, and they look amazing, and they beat some ACC teams in October, and then they fall down the stretch. I mean, they played Notre Dame, maybe the best G5 in South Florida, and Bethune. I think they did actually play Bethune-Cookman. And then Florida, which is a good Florida team. Like, this is defensively,
they've been tested. Good. They have been tested. Florida they're not quitting yet. They're playing hard. They're just not playing that well on offense. And so,
it's going to be hilarious when 10-0 Miami loses 2 straight games in Blacksburg.
I don't think it's going to happen this year, dude. I really, when I watch that team, I'm like, that's not the Miami at all I'm used to whatsoever.
They could win the national. If they win the national title, I would not be surprised right now.
We talk about who they've played and all this stuff, but just the eye test alone, like what they have on those lines of scrimmage is playoff caliber, Final Four caliber. Like, it is there. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out for them. But I think they're my number 1 team. If I was on the poll, I would have Miami number 1. But
well, the biggest problem is the guy that's wearing the headset. That's the only concern that I have with Miami.
Maybe they won't win any close games.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe not. As I said at the top of the show, College Football Monday is brought to you by Jack and Coke. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. The number 1 cocktail in the world is available in a can with Coca-Cola Classic, Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, as well as Cherry Coke and Vanilla Coke. You can get the variety pack now with original, cherry, and vanilla all in one box. One of our listeners, was it Damien, I think, sent in the picture?
Saw that. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, Pete's been telling me all season we had to do it. So I'm glad that ads work. And if you guys haven't tried them yet, they are extremely delicious. They go down easy. You don't have to mix your cocktail. It's already ready to go in the can, throw it in the cooler, drive down to Lane and get ready for game day. So yes, Jack and Coke, 2 legends, 1 can. They also have the blackberry liquor. Jack Daniel's Tennessee I can't talk, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Blackberry flavored Tennessee whiskey. There you go.
It's good. I have had it. It is tasty.
Nice. You've had the blackberry?
The blackberry, it's very tasty.
Awesome, dude. All right. Well, that's going to do it for that ad read. Jack and Coke, 2 legends, 1 can, ready to drink. And as you drink, make sure to drink responsibly. Missouri beats South Carolina. We have to talk about this before we get to maybe Indiana and then Clemson. We're going to talk about Clemson. But South Carolina goes down 29-20. And me and Billy Ray were going back and forth about Carolina's next few games because their schedule was really toughening up. And it's not like they played bad here. The spread was over 10 points, and I thought Mizzou was going to smack them. But Shane and his boys played better than I expected. Did you see it that way, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, they played tough. They played like these were 2 even teams, and they were the team on the road. I still think there is something about offensively, they don't look very good at all. Like offensive line, they are clearly a step below their opponents. And Lenore Sellers, you see the vision because sometimes, he made one throw in this game that looked utterly unreal. Like he was rolling out to his left, threw across his body on a dime 40 yards downfield. It looked like the throw Justin Herbert made this Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
But you only see like 3 or 4 of those throws a game, and everything else is entirely pedestrian. They can't run the ball. He's not really a threat to run the ball either because teams don't respect the running back as much, so he can't pull it on the read option. And defensively, they look meh. Like they don't look as aggressive and fast as they did against the Hokies. I never really thought Missouri was going to win this game, lose this game. Like they looked really
even when they were down, because they were down 14-12 at the half, and then I think maybe in the third quarter they were it was 18. What in any case,
in the whole time I was like, yeah, Missouri's going to score this next possession. Yeah.
Well, you said they can't run. I mean, they can't run to the tune of -9 rushing yards. Is that correct? That is crazy.
Look, you don't just walk into Como and come at night and come out with a win.
-9 for a quarterback in Sellers. I mean, yeah, that's go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, a couple things about this game specifically. Number one, I hate to pile on. The offensive coordinator situation is just very poor. To go from one complete style of play where he looks super comfortable, and you can't help that your coach takes another job, right? But then to jump basically to a pro style system with your quarterback who's young and like in a really awesome spot for his career, I hate to see that. That's one thing. The second thing is Missouri is one of those teams that's a blind spot for me because I always think they're like soft and like a fake SEC team. Like when they come on the crawler, I'm like, oh, Missouri, they suck. And they definitely don't. Like I give Texas A&M too much credit and I don't give Missouri enough credit, and it should be flipped.
Yeah, they're like an anonymous college football team in a way.
100%. Yeah. And then lastly, this game comes down to, and I hate it because we're talking a lot about Shane potentially being the next coach here, but the wheels really fell off in that fourth quarter. Like this is the drive chart in the fourth quarter. It's touchdown for Missouri, 75 yards in 10 plays, punt. So a 3-and-out for South Carolina. And then South Carolina had 2 more 3-and-outs and Missouri punched it in for a field goal and ended the game. So, the one thing that I'm interested to watch with Shane in South Carolina this year is I don't think Shane teams ever quit. Like I'll give him credit for that. But this schedule, you were saying it a couple of days ago, Pete, and thank goodness I didn't take the bait. But South Carolina is not really in a position where they're going to do what they did last year. Like the rest of their schedule is, so they go Kentucky at home, and then at LSU, Oklahoma at home, Alabama at home, at Ole Miss, at A&M, Coastal, and Clemson. Like this is not one of those seasons where
easiest game on that schedule might be Clemson at home.
It might be Clemson. So
I mean, they're staring down potentially a 5-7 season.
Yeah,
I mean it's
at best maybe at best.
They're littered with NFL talent too.
Let's finish with Shane and Sellers. Shane, first of all, you said they faded down the stretch in the game offensively. They had 9 yards on their last 3 drives.
Yeah,
like, it was really, really bad. Sellers took 5 sacks in this game. He's now taken 12 in 4 games. He, in addition to just like stifling the offense and killing his offense by not getting rid of the ball, like he's going to get hurt if he continues to take 5 sacks a game. And what's going to happen when he plays Oklahoma? Like it's going to be freaking ugly. That team just sacked somebody 9 times. And he has 5 touchdowns in 4 games. So 5 touchdowns, 12 sacks. That's a bad ratio.
It's also so crazy too, because it's 2 lessons that are embodied by some of these SEC opponents. Number one, we were told that DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, and Garrett Nussmeier were going to set the world on fire this year. To Garrett Nussmeier's credit, he is hurt. We were also told that South Carolina and Florida were going to be massive problems this year. And both of those teams apparently suck. Yes, they're still playing hard, Sam, but like, it's just very funny how week 1 results, you look at the South Carolina game and you're like, we played well with this South Carolina team. Do you see how well our defense played? Newsflash, their offense just sucks.
Yeah.
So
like there is a potential the wheels fall off for South Carolina here.
And I hate to say that, but it's looking likely, brother.
I'm gonna say it with all the sacks he's taken. I don't think he does this because I think Lenore Sellers is, for everything we've heard, he's an awesome guy. Somebody is going to be in Lenore Sellers' ear that just says, "Hey, man, you got a combine to prep for." I'm telling you, man.
He hasn't put it on tape yet, Sam. He's not going in the first round right now.
He's gonna look again. Him and Dylan Raiola are going to look phenomenal in an indoor practice facility.
To harp on that schedule, it's 5 top 20 teams in 36 days.
Geez.
In 36 days, they have 5 top 20 teams.
If they have like 2 injuries on the offensive line, they don't have a shot.
And we're not here to do a whole thing on like whether Shane should be the coach. We've done podcasts on that. Billy and Pat did a long talk about coaching candidates. So did Sam and I. You can find them in the feed. But like Shane's team is undisciplined. They had 14 penalties. That's the highest I saw like across college football this weekend. And they also just make a ton of mistakes in addition to Sellers taking all the sacks. Like they don't quit and they fight for him. But like, man, if they're not undisciplined.
It's very interesting because I am not at all saying that they're the same, because they're not. I would take Shane Beamer over Brent Pryde 1,000,000 times out of 1,000,000. What I will say is it kind of comes from the top down. Like, my biggest concern with Shane Beamer in general is his just emotional immaturity. Like, when he freaks out on the sideline and just like loses his mind. And a lot of times it's kind of silly. We'll see that with one coach and be like, I love that. I wish our coach would do that more. But something about the amount of times that they're penalized and those freak out sessions, it looks really cool when you're coming back and you've won 3 games in a row, and it looks really bad when you've lost 2 games in a row you have no business losing. And that's just kind of the reality of the situation.
It's true. I mean, we like it when a coach shows some fire, when it's rare because it has meaning and it might fire up the team. We don't want to see it every quarter of every game. And that's kind of what you get with Shane. Like, he's a very emotional guy. Despite being, almost 50, he looks like a little boy. And it's just like, it looks like Frank's son throwing a fit. Like, that's just what it's always going to look like, at least to me. And so, anyway, do you have anything, last thoughts on that, Sam, on Shane or anything else?
Nope. They got a long season ahead of them.
They do. Indiana, big over Illinois, 63-10.
Oh,
I know a lot of us liked Illinois in this game, including myself. I know Billy was on it. It was tough.
God.
Brother, I wasn't on it. It was the 6th leg it was the final leg of a 6-leg parlay, $20 to win like 680. And I wish you could have seen mine and Juliana's face when we turned the game on. We got back from the bar. We had a day out. We're drinking all day. We turned the TV on. It's like, oh my God, what happened here?
It happened so fast.
Yeah,
it happened so fast. And I got to tell you, man, it's hard to not think that just the way Kurt Cignetti is wired, he's probably out there like, I'm going to score as many points on every team that I possibly can. He would have scored 80 if he could have, I feel like, in this game.
Yeah.
And then his post-game press conference, he's like, yeah, before I got here and when Brett Bielema was at Wisconsin, they beat they beat Indiana by a lot. Like, that's what he's using to motivate himself. He's just so crazy.
He's a crazy man, dude. He's
so
crazy.
crazy.
And I know Illinois was on like their 3rd string DBs about midway through the game because they were taking on injuries. 63 in a ranked on ranked.
It's only a 60-minute game, Pete. Like, that's tough.
I mean, and the thing about, I expected more from Altmaier in Illinois. Absolutely. I think everybody did. But the thing about Indiana, this is just no fluke anymore. I mean, this is like, they are just plain good. They will smoke your ass if you're not ready.
This is a better team than they had last year.
Yeah.
Last year, they were a good team against a really easy schedule. This year, they're a really good team against a good schedule. It doesn't get much harder, but wow.
We were just talking about undisciplined play. They are such a disciplined football team. Like, they do not make mistakes. They have every team X'd and O'd up appropriately. Like, just looking at their efficiency from this game, like the box score's great. They were penalized twice for 10 yards. In terms of their passing, 21 for 23 for 11.6 yards per throw. Like, they're just a well-oiled, unbelievable machine. I wish his name was thrown around a little bit more on somebody that I would hire Curt Cignetti.
Yeah, he's making a buck. He's not leaving Indiana. And here's the thing though, when you look at Curt Cignetti and Indiana, if you're a Virginia Tech fan right now, we're going to talk about the money in just a few minutes here, but like, this should make you hopeful. A situation like Indiana, and this is rare, and they are probably the exception because they went from no tradition, no nothing to the playoff, and then another season back-to-back where now they look like they're going to be good again. But it is an example. If you go out, hire the right guy, if he brings in the right players immediately, you can turn it over like that. If a school like Indiana with nothing can do this, like, it's possible anywhere, quite literally anywhere that's willing to spend a little bit of money.
They had 10.7 yards per drop back. Every time they drop back to pass, they got 10.7 yards.
First down every time. All you got to do is drop back.
That's crazy.
Do you guys think there's a realistic chance they ruin Penn State or Oregon, one of Penn State or Oregon's season? They play both of them on the road.
That's tough. Yeah, I think there's a chance.
There's a chance. I think it is on the flip side of the quesadilla again, Pete.
Flipping and whipping the yams.
Illinois kind of got like that game against Duke was weird. Illinois kind of got a bunch of fumbles and a bunch of turnovers, and like Duke on a play-by-play basis hung with them or played better. It's just Illinois got these turnovers.
Illinois, like South Carolina, was super overrated coming into the season.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
There's a chance we look back on this and say that's a really good win for Indiana, but Illinois might have been.
It could have been fraudulent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pat made this point, and it's a good one. It's, brother, when was the last time we scored 63 points against anybody? Like, to score 63 points against another Division I, like, power
it's crazy.
School,
It's crazy.
It's
Division
so crazy
opponent when you're all keyed up for the game. Against Brett Bielema. Like,
yeah. And my thing is, like, I'm looking at Oregon, I'm looking at Penn State, and yes, we don't know how good Illinois is, but I'll tell you what, the rest of Indiana's schedule outside of those two games is extremely workable.
Yes,
at Iowa, Michigan State, UCLA at home, at Maryland, who might be a little frisky, and then Wisconsin, and you end with Purdue.
Those are six 30-plus point wins.
Like, why can't Indiana be Indiana again this year? Just like you said, Sam, better.
It's hard to imagine they get through with one loss again, because they got through with one loss last year. They're not. I would imagine they go 10-2 at best.
And they should be in the playoff probably if they go 10-2.
Well, we're going to talk about playoff picks a little bit later.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next segment is something I'm going to call Syracuse ending Clemson. This was
all caps.
34-21. It's going to lead to a conversation about Dabo, but Syracuse grabbed them by the neck early here. They scored. They got the onside kick. It was 10-0 before you could blink. It was 24-7, then 34-14 after the weather delay, which Clemson's just inventing weather delays now to try to not lose. The effort just was not there for Dabo's squad. And unlike a situation like Florida State, or maybe what we saw with Virginia Tech, we can normally blame this kind of like lack of effort on, this team's all portal. They don't care. Like, this is the opposite of that. This is all Dabo's guys. They've been there, the same culture they've had forever. It's startling, right, Billy? Like, this is surprising.
couple of things. Number one, it is startling. Number two, I feel bad for Angeli. He went to Bergen Catholic 15 minutes away from my house. Tore his ACL in that game. Real shame. And given a ton of credit to Fran Brown. I really don't see this as much as Clemson is quitting, as I see it as like they might just not be very good. Like Cade Klubnik, another quarterback who coming into the year, it's like first quarterback off the board, Heisman Trophy, going to be really good. He looks awful. But again, like Clemson had 503 yards and lost. I think Dabo in his post-game availability, he said that's the first time that's happened since I think like 2003 or 2002. 500 yards at home and lose. But you look at some of the other stuff, like 3 of 13 on third down, 1 of 5 on fourth down. You get caught with that surprise onside kick, which, like, come on, you're playing Syracuse at home. Like, they're playing with house money. Like, if you watch the replay, nobody's watching the ball go over their head. I didn't sense quit as much as I sensed just a team who doesn't.
I didn't say quit. I said like effort. Like the effort is just not.
They don't look locked in.
Yeah.
And I think it is a bit of that first game was so, and you can say this for a lot of teams, like that first game was so big and they were competitive the whole time and they lost close late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And you're like, what kind of mental hurt does that put on a team? Because after that, you have, I mean, who'd they play next after
Troy.
that? They had played Troy, and there was like a lightning delay. Yeah. It was a really
solid Troy team, by the way.
Troy's not bad.
Yeah. No, they're not
They
bad.
win that game, and then they come out, and it's like you play a really, really tough Georgia Tech team on the road. You'll lose that one on a last-second field goal, and now you play at home. There's another weird lightning delay. You score 500. You get 500 yards of offense. You still can't win. It's like sometimes teams, and we have to remember these are college kids. It's not like they are quitting because they're like bad kids. It's like sometimes the ball just gets rolling and it's really hard to stop. And I don't think they're talented enough to just walk out
just
on the
turn
field
it
and win
on.
these
Like
games
it's
anymore.
narrow misses.
And teams aren't scared of it.
It does start to snowball.
No one's like, oh no, we have to play Clemson this week.
One more thing.
ACs, they're not feeling that.
One more thing too. This is an interesting case study on so Clemson does the entire SEC scheduling thing where they book their group of 5 patty cake team the week before rivalry week.
Mm-hmm.
I really think this Clemson team could have seriously benefited from playing Furman after they played Troy or playing Furman, a week after Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
Their schedule, very similar to ours, is so brutal. LSU at home, Troy, who's a good power group of 5 school. Then you play Georgia Tech, and then you play Syracuse, who it's going to be their absolute Super Bowl to play against you. I'm not trying to make excuses for Clemson, but they really could have benefited from getting a back-to-back because Troy wasn't one of those situations where you could get going.
To counter that, Syracuse wasn't supposed to be at the top of the ACC this year.
No,
and Syracuse had never won in Clemson. Mm-hmm. They have given Clemson problems in the Dome. They had never won down there. And so we have to credit Fran Brown and what he is doing with Syracuse yet again. This guy is destined for the SEC. I mean, he is going to get another job. But as far as the talent goes and that comment on Clemson, I've been told for 3 years that Peter Woods and TJ Parker are studs. They're Christian Wilkins. Yep. No, they are not. They are just not that good. And Tom Allen, bust. This is a bust. He might be good down the road, but this first 4 games, he has failed. That defense is not playing that great.
This I put out the video of when Stanley plays basketball in the office and Michael thinks he's going to be good just because he's the only African American in the office, and he starts dribbling and you're like, yo, what? That's what it feels like with this Clemson team. They brought in Tom Allen, they had Cade Klubnik, they have these awesome young wide receivers this whole offseason. I'm like, guys, Clemson has the best wide receiver room in the country, and they come out and they look like they did in this game, and you're just like, this is Clemson? I'm not used to seeing this.
Wesco's the only one that makes a play for that.
Cade Klubnik can't see the field.
No.
And he threw the ball 61 times this game.
Oh, my God.
And he's missing. Guys are running wide open, and he's not even looking at them. I think there is a serious,
I did not know he threw the
Dabo,
ball 61 times, and I'm staring at the box score. I can't believe
Dabo might have really missed on the Garrett Riley hire.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like you got to make a divorce there. Clemson's now 3-6 in their last 9 P4 games. 3-6, and I think over the last
they just like us.
Yeah,
Come on down, Clemson. Let's hang out.
Yeah, that's Virginia Tech's music right there, man.
Yeah.
1-3 on the season for the first time since 2004. I was in college. That's a long fucking time ago. And Dabo's commentary from last week.
Dabo,
like after the game, he was like, "We're hurt. I'm in pain." Totally get that. That's fine. Last week, the stuff about like we might suck, we might go 6-6. Why are we held to a higher standard? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Don't you want to be held to a higher standard? You've created this standard. That's what you want, and now you're mad about it. Like, I don't get it.
He it's one of those guys when you start losing, the shtick doesn't work. And I wonder what's going on in that locker room right now with the shtick, because the shtick got them a couple of natties. So it obviously did something good. But when you start losing and the ball starts rolling the wrong way, I don't know how many of those guys are like, you know what, it's not working this year. And when you have national title as your standard and you're clearly not even going to make the playoff unless you win the ACC, which doesn't look great right now that you're 0-2 in the league. Like this season kind of feels like a lost cause for.
I think what you said about losing that LSU game,
I think it killed some.
I think it really hurt them mentally. I think you're right on with that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then they played well enough to win the Georgia Tech game against a good Georgia Tech team. Like I think Georgia Tech's going to compete for the ACC championship.
I mean, a couple of possessions go another way, and Clemson has wins over LSU and Georgia Tech.
Right, they could have won both those games. They could have.
They're in such a weird spot as a university, man, because like, look, they're not going to fire Dabo Swinney, in my opinion. Like, they're not going to fire Dabo Swinney, but
he's got a $60 million buyout.
At the same standpoint, like, if I'm Dabo, I'm kind of like, if I truly don't care and will go coach somewhere else, I kind of want to go do that. Like, all my guys are leaving. They're all old. You're resetting the deck again next year. You're probably looking for. You're either keeping the coordinators that weren't that good, firing them and getting new ones, or it's just it's a bunch of ick, and it hasn't been ick in Clemson for a while.
If Dabo went to just about any G5 school, they'd be in the playoff, without a doubt. Like if you went to Coastal, he'd take them to the playoff.
I don't think it's about like Dabo Swinney's ability as a football coach. I think it is the combination of Dabo's shtick. Riley hasn't worked out as an OC. Klubnik hasn't developed, and you have a bunch of defensive guys that aren't playing with their hair on fire like normal. Like it's it's all of these things together and a tough schedule. It happens.
It's almost like when he lost Brent Venables, they were no longer good at defense.
Can we just say this though? Like again,
they weren't stealing signs from the whole game.
If we here's what's going to happen. Nobody's going to talk about Clemson for the next 4 weeks. If they win the next 4 weeks against Carolina, Boston College, SMU, and Duke, they do play Florida State on November 8th.
Yep.
So it's going to go one of two ways, Pete. The team will mail it in, which I absolutely can see happening. The team can just be bad, which I think is the most likely option. Or this Dabo Juju shtick stuff, he can get them ready to roll, and then they have an opportunity to play against the Florida State. So I wouldn't completely write them off, but almost like stepbrothers, I'm starting to like drizzle the dirt on top of them. Like that's where we are right now.
Yeah, because you can't go to the ACC championship game with 3 losses, most likely, and they already have 2, and so that's tough. Let's move to our segment. I wanted to talk about this with you guys. Teams that deserve more attention that maybe the nation isn't talking about enough. Maybe teams that me and Sam on College Football Monday have not talked about enough. And Sam, I'm going to give you first crack at this.
I have 3. Billy Ray will love one of them. I'm going to start out west. We're going to go west-east. The Southern California Trojans are absolutely destroying teams right now.
They are.
They are number 2 in the country in EPA per play margin. They are number 1 in success rate. They are number 1 in yards per play. Their next 3 games are at Illinois, at home against Michigan, at Notre Dame. I think it is, wow. I would take them in all 3 of those games.
Oh,
After I honestly would. And after that, they kind of have some smooth sailing until they go to Oregon the second to last week of the year. 3 of their last 4 games are in Los Angeles.
Okay.
This team is so freaking fast. It is absurd how fast they are. They all look like Olympic track stars out there.
after losing Zachariah Branch too, who I thought was going to be.
Oh,
one of the best
they got
defenders of
they
all
got
time.
guys that are better than him. And
Yeah.
defensively, I forget his name. They have a freshman linebacker who is shocking. I mean, he is so tall. He's like 6'6", insanely long arms. They do still have that USC thing where like sometimes on defense they look like they like don't know where they are and they just kind of stop playing. But offensively, man, I see why they got rid of Miller Moss. I see why they didn't pay him.
Yeah.
They're
In terms of what you choosing them as someone to talk
Just-
about more.
I know they're like a blue blood, but they're out west. They play late at night, sleepy. I think they're going to roll over Illinois with no problem and just get ready for USC in the playoffs. A home playoff game in the
I would love
Coliseum.
that. I would
Picture
love it so much.
Picture it.
I really would.
They haven't
let me
played
also say
anybody yet. Michigan
is
State,
true.
I'm not counting Michigan State as anybody because Michigan State
That's true,
going
that's
out
true,
west,
that's true.
that's
That's
USC was favored by 17.5. They did not cover, but
we got a little backdoor there from Michigan
Yeah.
State.
and so I want to see them go up against somebody good, but Maeva, to your point, Sam, best QBR in the
Ooh.
country.
He's good, man.
on that note, USC is getting shafted this upcoming week because they have to play Illinois at 9:00 Pacific time, which is kind of bullshit. After
Fox are
last week.
domestic terrorists right now.
Dude,
They
and that's
made
not-
Utah play at 10
those
a.m.
teams going to the Midwest. This like I know it seems like a slam dunk,
Mhm.
maybe because of what just happened to Illinois. Like it's a funny spot.
Fox
Yeah,
is
it is a funny spot.
Fox is like actually playing a difference in the outcome of games right now.
Yeah,
Like you can't tell me if you thought Rice Eccles was loud at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Why isn't that game at 8:00 at night?
Texas Tech got off easy with that. Yeah.
I mean, they can only sell such high level of alcohol in Utah. You got to give them all day to get that shit up. It's actually an issue in college football.
we got to
I
move
agree.
to one of Billy's teams here.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
You're actually gonna like this one, Sam. So I'm cheating. I'm lumping 2 in because they play each other next week. I'm gonna go with Michigan State. Sam, I thought they were gonna suck, and they're a lot
Okay.
more fun and better than I thought they would be. They score points, they play well, and I'll tell you what, it's fun to see that team being competitive again because I used to love watching Michigan State play. They were one of the first playoff teams, I think the first playoff team to make the playoffs. So it's good to see them playing well. And the second one, I did this exercise a little bit different, Pete. I don't think we're giving Nebraska enough credit for like maybe never being back. Like this was such an opportunity for them to get like that capstone signature win against like a Michigan team who has a ton of flaws and it hasn't been represented in the AP poll yet. So they come to Nebraska and you guys score on a Hail Mary at halftime and you still can't beat a Biff Poggi coached Michigan team. Like we're not giving enough credit to like maybe this actually isn't going to happen.
I love
Ever.
that spin on this. We need to give them more credit for losing and blowing it.
yes. We need to give them more credit for I don't think they're ever going to be back.
That was
And I'd like them to
not
be
the
back,
intention of this segment, but I like how you took it. All right. I had a list of teams, and then Sam, you're going to go again. But like Indiana, we've already talked about Indiana. They may deserve more credit, but because they're number 6 in the SP Plus right now, but we've already talked about them. Mizzou, same thing, very high up.
Mhm.
I think we need to give more credit to Washington. I think Washington Huskies are 28th in the SP Plus. DeMond Williams has been sensational as a quarterback. 93.6 QBR on the season, second only to Maeva from USC. And Jonah Coleman, their running back, is running for 115 yards a game. They took it to Wazoo. I thought Wazoo would cover in that game. I got my rivalry games wrong. I thought Oregon would cover, and I thought Wazoo would also cover, and they flipped. I got them both wrong. So in any case, Washington deserves more credit. Go ahead, Sam.
We got a big one coming up this weekend.
Washington plus 9.5 has already been placed. That bet has already been placed.
Nice.
second longest home winning streak in the country in Seattle, by the way, for the Washington Huskies. Georgia Tech, I know we've talked about, but they're 11th in the country in yards per play right now. And they're they're like resting Haynes King. Like he's on the Kawhi Leonard special right now. And if this pays off for them, because their schedule is a cakewalk until they play Georgia in Mercedes-Benz. Like if this works out for them, it might be pretty genius. And we might see one of the best coaching jobs of recent memory.
Yeah, don't get Billy started.
Pete, we've been so in for so long. Like I'll tell you what, man. My one tech let me down. My other tech ain't letting me down. Like I could not be more in on Brent Key. I could not be more in on Haynes King. The schedule has worked out so perfectly, and I felt good about them even if they were going to lose this game to Clemson. So to go out and handle business, like I just think the rate of people on the team and coaching for the team that are made of, quote, the right stuff is higher than any like team in the country. So I love them, man.
Brent Key he is just the right amount of weird. Like in terms of just being a dog. Like his press conferences, like they're a little weird. They're not as weird as Fran Brown's. They're not as weird as some other guys, but they're weird. It's kind of like Jim Harbaugh weird. And I love it. And the defense is better than I thought it'd be for Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
And I love Haynes King. He was my number one ACC quarterback. So I'm all in with that one. Sam, did you just go? That was you.
I just went. Yeah.
Bill, what do you got? Do you have any more?
Yeah, I have a couple more, but I'll go with this one. Tennessee's lowest scoring total was 41 points against Georgia. The fact that they have replaced a quarterback, brought in some other quarterback, and are just out here like dropping 40, 50, 60, 70 on teams. I don't think they're a playoff contender, but I think that we need to start talking about Heupel like a disciple. Like this dude is for real. I am so overwhelmingly impressed with the job that Coach Key and Heupel has done. Like those are the two coaches that really stand out to me this year. And Heupel got handed a really, really crappy hand. And
by
he's
association, that's why I like Golish. Because he's a Heupel disciple, as you just said.
True.
Yeah, he coached up Hendon Hooker, all that jazz. So yeah, great pick. Because Tennessee was one of my playoff picks. I was very on the fence about it, and the Syracuse win wasn't all like that convincing. But then Syracuse goes out and so it's like this Tennessee team, like they got a little something. That Georgia loss probably doesn't happen if they're fully healthy either. They were out both starting corners for the Georgia game, and they still, damn near won. So anyway, Sam you went. I'll say Kansas. I'm going to put Kansas on this list for teams that deserve more credit. They lost to Mizzou in what was a very cool game, very fun game in the border war. But Kansas is 27th in SP+. They're putting up offensive numbers. Daniels, for as long as he's standing up, they can beat anyone on their schedule. And so I think they deserve more credit because I think they're going to be dangerous in that Big 12 race.
And speaking of the Big 12 race, Friday night, TCU at Arizona State is a massive, massive game because the winner of that game joins Texas Tech in terms of in control of their own destiny in the Big 12. Josh Hoover for TCU already has 1,000 yards passing. Exactly 1,000 yards passing, 11 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. On the flip side, like Sam Leavitt and this offense haven't really hit their stride yet. They haven't really looked good yet. They had to win on a last-second field goal against Baylor. We're kind of waiting for Arizona State to play like they did last year. They got better throughout the season. I think the winner of this game is Arizona State had the loss at Mississippi State. It doesn't count towards the Big 12. The winner of this game is going to make noise for the playoffs late in November. Like they're going to be in the conversation.
So do you want
this game might be in some trouble.
Do you want to do the TCU thing? Because I feel like they deserve a little bit more attention.
They do. I mean, it's so hard because like UNC might be the worst Power 4 team.
True, but that SMU Iron Skillet game, which we may talk about, and we can just talk about it now if you want to.
Just talk about it.
That was a back and forth affair. Josh Hoover was awesome. He had like 380 yards passing. Was it 5 touchdowns on offense?
I believe so. Yeah.
He lit it up. He's passing for like 333 yards a game, 11 touchdowns, 2 picks, 180 rating, completing 68% of his passes. The guy is awesome. At the end of the Iron Skillet game, though, it looked like he got hurt. I was so nervous for him, but he came back on the field, so he looks like he's fine. But Hoover's playing out of his mind. They're 24th in SP plus. They look a little like the old TCU back when Coach Fuente was there. So it's a team that definitely we have not talked enough about on this show, Sam. We've mentioned them, but not enough.
And this is the weekend where they can really get into the national spotlight, I think. And
I agree.
Yeah, man. It's going to be a great uniform matchup, too. TCU at Arizona State at night in the desert. Oh, my goodness. That's going to be good.
That's a good one. Did you watch any of the ECU BYU game? Because that was a wacky uniform matchup.
My sister legitimately texted me, like, you need to look at ECU's uniforms. They are crazy.
They were old. They were wearing the old school ECU. It was purple jerseys with yellow pants and purple helmets. It was crazy looking. And then BYU had blue pants. It was a mess of color on the field.
Once the Retzloff news came out, I immediately bet BYU under. BYU is a darn good football
They're
team
good.
Right now.
They are good.
They haven't played anybody any good yet. But to go all the way to the East Coast in Greenville and win that game at night in what can be a really tough place to play, impressed with the Cougs right now.
They were.
Can you imagine
ECU
what that crowd was
like
saying?
A fun money line pick this past week, but
I'm going to guess not many BYU fans made it out to Sub Dogs.
No.
Right, we have to let Billy go here in a minute, but I want to just ask him what he has learned through a third of the way through the college football season. Like, is there anything that you've definitively learned 4 games into this season?
I think I would say that for so many teams, more so than any other week that I can remember in my college football watching life, I feel like this week we learned so much about so many different teams. Like, you definitively were able to say, oh, this is totally not going to work here. Like, this has a definitive end. I feel like we got a bunch of that. I also feel like there were a ton of teams. I was worried about this happening in the SEC, but it's happened in every single conference. There have been so many teams that got into like convince yourself that you'll be good enough mode, and it almost across the board has not worked out. Like, you can probably count on one hand the amount of teams that like were convincing themselves that it was going to work out versus the teams that it has completely not worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, for Arkansas, it's completely not worked out. For North Carolina, it's completely not worked out. For us, it's not worked out. I mean, like, this past week was like the red wedding of college football. I would also say too, like, aside from Miami and Florida State, like, thank God Florida State's good, because if not, the ACC would be like in an awful spot. Like, if Florida State was not good, it's pretty much just Miami and a whole bunch of like not that good.
Sam, you got something there?
Guys, Florida State, since that Alabama game, do you know who they've played?
Oh, they played
Nobody?
East Texas A&M, bye week, Kent State.
And
we need to pump
dominated.
the brakes on Florida State here real quick.
Listen, the Bama win still
have.
means something. The
It
Bama
does.
win still means something. I mean,
It's all we have in the conference. That's what I'm saying. Like, the conference just has not really done that much after an okay week one, like a solid showing week one.
what I was going to say, Bill, as far as what I've learned through 4 weeks of the year, is that the ACC is the worst power conference, and it's not particularly close. If you look at the numbers of the matchups, we're probably closer to the American than we are to the Big 10 or the Big 12. And we're very far from the SEC. Like, we're 2-4 versus the SEC, 1-1 versus the Big 10, and then 1-6 versus the Big 12. 1-6. 4 of those losses have come from SMU and UNC, but nevertheless, 1-6 versus the Big 12 is a rough look when we're supposed to be on equal footing. And
SMU and UNC are 2 of your highest budget athletic departments.
SMU is a decent team. They're good. And Jennings is playing through an injury right now, but they lost 2 critical games for the conference. They did. And we did too. And so like we got our losses in the SEC. So I guess that's better, but it's not like it was to the SEC juggernauts. It's Vandy's good, but South Carolina's not that good. And we kind of knew that going into the game, and now we definitely know it.
Can we also this year put the I feel like there was a big push last year to basically say, hey, the Big Ten and the SEC, the SEC's top notch is obviously better, but the middle is closer than people think. I think we can put that to rest.
Yeah,
I think
so.
the middle of the SEC is definitively better than the middle
Yep.
of the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Well, the Big Ten outside of 4 teams right now
Mhm.
is like I would take a ACC matchup against an Illinois right now. I mean, Duke really they didn't outplay them.
Cal
They lost,
beat
but Duke's
Minnesota
not even
by
that good,
2
and like
scores.
they could have won that
Mhm.
game.
Like
Mhm.
you're what are you getting from Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa? Like these are not
Oh, did
very
you
good
just said the
teams.
Cal thing?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean Rutgers doesn't look any good. Rutgers struggled against Ohio, and I just think the SEC right now is just so far and away better this year.
Mhm.
So far
Iowa-
and away. Now, the top of the conference, like I don't know if I'm taking Texas, Oklahoma, LSU, Georgia, whoever, Bama, I mean, whoever it is. Like, I don't know if those teams are better than Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so I'm ready for the narrative when we get to the national title game and it's like Penn State versus Georgia and Penn State wins a close game. We're like, dude, football's a northern sport now because it's I'm ready for that narrative.
I mean,
I'm ready
it
for
happened in the championship game last year. Ohio State against Notre Dame. Midwest football's back. But to link in with what Bill said earlier in terms of things we learned in like Red Saturday, Clemson, South Carolina, K-State, SMU, Florida, all top 25 frauds from the preseason poll. That's Clemson, South Carolina, K-State, who's been a nightmare, SMU, and Florida. None of them are in the top 25.
And Illinois.
Clemson's the team. Remember we said which top 10 team's going to finish outside the top 25? It's Clemson. They will finish outside the top 25 this year. I almost guarantee it. And I'm not totally on fraud alert with Illinois yet, but 63-10 gets you very, very close. Anything else you learned from the first 4 weeks, Sam?
I think this is the most wide open national championship race we've ever had. And I thought that last year, and this year's significantly.
That was my last one. Wide open national championship race.
Wide open. Cannot wait. I mean, this weekend's going to be insane.
Can't wait.
I've got 19 teams right now that I think could win the national title.
That's a big list.
I mean,
it's a big list, and it's unlikely, but through these first 4 weeks, like it's still at 19. And that's without, like, I don't have Georgia Tech on there. Like, I've got Florida State. I've got Miami from the ACC. And then the most outrageous one is probably TCU. Like, that's...
So you have Texas Tech on there.
Texas Tech's on there.
I don't know if they could...
I have Michigan on there. Like,
I don't know if those teams can win the national title, but, like, they could make noise. Like, they could win games.
Right. Like, it's probably closer to, like, a 14-team list.
Like,
but there's an extra 5 that I felt like.
Do you have USC on there?
Yes.
Do you have Tennessee on there?
I do.
Do you have Vanderbilt on there?
No. Florida State, TCU, A&M, Michigan, and Missouri. Those are probably the most like outrageous. And unless you want to throw Indiana, but what Indiana just did, and they made the playoff last year, they're not. We know that Indiana's probably not going to win the national title. I'm just saying, in terms of a wide open race, when they just did what they just did, like you have to include them in the 19 teams. Anyway, Bill, are you going to cut out before? Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk Board of Visitors with us real quick before you leave, Billy?
We're talking about that tomorrow. I'll leave that to you guys. I do want to give you 2 more teams though. I do want to give you 2 more teams. My 2 teams here are on the last on my last kind of style. We're not talking about how embarrassing the UNC thing is. Like the UNC thing was talked about so much this offseason. And like the videos came out of Jordan cheering in the Charlotte, like in the stands there. She's talking to Bill Belichick while the team is stretching. Like it really is crazy that a university as prestigious as North Carolina has allowed itself to look this silly. It really is silly. a national embarrassment. So I think that's not being talked about enough. And then the other one, are you guys prepared for, if I'm not going to say wins this weekend, but if UVA wins one of the next 2 games that they play, like UVA is scoring points at will, 48, 31, 55, 48. They play Florida State on Friday night at home. They're like, I think they're a pretty damn good team. And the back half of their schedule is really easy after they play Florida State and Louisville, Washington State, at North Carolina, at Cal, Wake, at Duke, Virginia Tech at home.
They look right now a lot like that team that they had with Brennan Armstrong.
Yes.
Offensively, they look really good. Defensively, they don't look very good, but it's like, how much do they need it? Now, that team with Brennan Armstrong finished 6-6 because eventually the bad defense caught up to him and the offense couldn't keep up. But this team, Chandler Morris is probably a better quarterback than Brennan Armstrong ever was. I don't know if
4 games. I mean,
it's been 4 games.
Sure,
they lost to the only good team they played. But
we'll find out in the next 2 weeks. We're going to know in 2 weeks.
Their offense is legitimately good.
They hit on so many portal guys.
Morris is seemingly, they hit on him, but he was holding his ribs or something in the past game. He likes to run the ball. They already have depth problems on UVA. Like, I want to see UVA after they play a Florida State. Like, how are they feeling after that? Like, their depth is going to continue to get hit. And Virginia Tech took those hits up front. Like, the offensive line injuries are killing us. Let's see what happens to UVA as they get through a few more difficult games. But no question, their offense has been sensational. Florida State game is going to be fascinating. Like, I can't wait to see what happens there. But Bill, you've been a great guest. Thank you for being here with us tonight and chopping it up a little bit on college football in general. I know you love this stuff.
Oh, for sure. Last one, Ole Miss. Ole Miss might be a little better, and the SEC might be a little bit more open than people thought. I thought you were going to say it, Sam, because you said you're going to love one, and I thought you would do it. So, but you did.
I like Ole Miss against LSU this weekend.
I considered putting Ole Miss on my needs more attention list for sure. They were one of the teams.
Awesome.
All right, man.
Take care, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Yep. We'll talk to you soon. Later. All right, Sam. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment, VT Corner. We're going to switch up the background.
Ooh.
This is our VT Corner. Yeah, I got the logo and everything. This is our VT Corner segment. Virginia Tech beat Wford, Sam, 38-6. And we're going to talk about that win in just 1 minute because a win deserves some recognition. More importantly, money. Virginia Tech is getting some money. The proposed budget, which is going to be voted on September 30th by the Board of Visitors, has been all the talk on Twitter and on social media today. Witt made waves over the summer when Doug Bowman released the slide deck to everyone on Hokie Twitter about how much they're going to be asking for because we were so far behind in athletic spending compared to the rest of the ACC public institutions. Well, what was leaked to Pete Thamel and presented on College Game Day and shown just about everywhere else, the Cover 3 guys were talking about it, it seems like the Board of Visitors is going to approve a nearly $50 million increase in Virginia Tech athletic spending.
And that's like just the beginning. We're looking at a $61 million increase in the fiscal year 27, another $60 million in fiscal year 28, and another $60 million in fiscal year 29. Like, the level of intense fundraising and intense investment that Virginia Tech athletics is poised to see over the next few years is unprecedented in the university's history. And there are rumblings of a very, very large, if not the largest ever, single donation to Virginia Tech. That is by a donor that has not been a keg that has not been tapped yet to keep with the show's theme. I just hope they spend it in the right places, man.
I mean, that's what it's about, right? And when all the news broke, and I put out a couple tweets on the 2D page, people are talking about it everywhere. And we got to give VT Scoop from 247 the work they've done on this, Doug Bowman, the work he's done on this.
Yeah, Doug's been all over this for like a year.
Yeah.
Like he's been ever since there was the rumblings of Witt was getting really antsy with the budget. Doug's been all over it. Yeah.
So the amount for next fiscal year would be 190 million, up from what was about 122 million. And everyone that's talked about this has been like, holy crap. Like Bud Elliott's like, oh my God, 50 million more dollars. Like, and it might even be more than that because there's also rumors of about, another 12 to 14 million in one-time gifts. That's kind of what you were referring to, one-time investments. And then the incremental increases through 2029 was what we saw on a spreadsheet. And now keep in mind, all the other schools are going to raise their spending as well. Like this is not a stagnant thing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you look at what teams spent in 2024 and what we are planning to spend next year, like where that money would come in would be about third in the conference behind only Notre Dame and Stanford. And Stanford ain't putting that money into football. Like we'd be above Miami in terms of what Miami spent in 2024 with this 190 million plus maybe another dozen.
You're looking at upper half of the SEC. And that is great. I mean, we're looking at what LSU has, and LSU's been funneling money from a children's hospital for 5 years.
Don't let anyone out there say, well, you still got to. No, this is absolutely huge and a giant amount of money that puts us right in the teeth up to be competitive with anybody. And
what it does, it allows you, like, let's talk about how does this impact on field? Because Virginia Tech, as the fiscal entity that is Virginia Tech Athletics, which is separate from the university, by the way, just to keep that in mind, can only give 20, if it raises with inflation, 20 to 25 million in NIL, right? Over the next however many years. So where does the rest of this money go? The rest of this money can go towards the facility upgrades that are desperately needed to Castle Coliseum. It can go towards expanded staffs for programs that need expanded staffs. Virginia Tech's recruiting staff is still well below their ACC counterparts. And the basketball staff is also one that will need enhanced investment as well. So right off the bat, those are your two biggest monies, but then you got to spend money to make money. And does Virginia Tech try to get a little bit creative with how they're bringing in some of these big donors and how they're marketing out their program? These are the things that, like, just having the money is okay. You got to build an army with that money. And right now, Virginia Tech doesn't have that. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're missing, they have 5 or 6 open heads in Hokie Club right now. Like, you got to bring people in to do that so you can keep this money going. That's where they need to spend money. They need to invest it in the program, not just spend it on little things here and there that'll be gone. How they spend this is so good. If they do, oh, buddy.
Yeah, because we have to know, I don't care so much where the money's coming from as much as some other people seem to. I'm glad that we're getting it. It's going to be student fees. It's going to be donations. It's going to be Hokie Club getting better, all this kind of stuff. What will the football percentages be is important. How much money of it will go to football matters, but it's going to be the vast majority. We know that.
Yeah, it's going to be, because there's only so much you can do for the other sports. Look, take baseball, for example. By NCAA rule, you can only have so many coaches associated with your baseball program that are not volunteer. Mm-hmm. A lot of the Olympic sports are capped in the amount of investment that you can give them, not only because of Title IX, but also because of just the rules. So I think it's football is really the only place that you have to put this money. You can't just throw $20 million at your women's soccer program. There's nowhere to spend it.
If you're Texas Tech, you can spend $1 million on a pitcher for softball.
You could do that. You could, but that's that's your NIL.
I know
they went,
and there's so many different buckets of money. And how, is that 200 million with the one-time gifts part of the 20 million in rev share? This is above my pay grade, a lot of this, but the good news is we're going to have a budget that's competitive with the very best in the ACC, and competing with a lot of the private schools and SEC as well. And so this is big.
And something also to make, can you bring up that list again?
Sure.
I guess I can, but it's if you want to look at here, Notre Dame private school, Stanford private school, Miami private school, Duke private school, SMU isn't on here. SMU's up there. Miami and SMU also don't have that many sports. Virginia Tech carries a lot of sports. So this budget increase is needed for the entire athletic department, not just football. I know football is what makes it work, but one of the reasons Virginia Tech football has been so hamstrung is because the athletics department needs to fund all of these sports.
And that it calls into question, like, will we cut sports like as part of this new budget? Like, will things change? Will percentages change? Like, I don't know.
In increasing a budget but cutting sports is something like a McKinsey consultant would really like.
All right, let's move on from the money to something related. Pete Nakos from On3, someone I was talking shit on not too long ago, reports that sources say Bruce Arians is expected to consult and lend his expertise to the Hokies hiring committee.
Speaking of consultants, Bruce Arians has been, over the last year, has been a voice in Blacksburg. I think this is a great move. He's somebody who has played a coordinator role, a head coach role, and like a pseudo GM role as well when he was with the Buccaneers. I think it's a great addition to have. I think there are more great additions that they can bring into the building here as advisors. It's the right move. I don't think you could really find somebody else better to be a part of this. So I'm all for it, man.
I'm all for it. And similar to what Max and Cheese just commented, now don't screw up the hire. Like, we got all this money. It's great. Don't make a Jimbo Fisher hire like Texas A&M did.
Does that change the type of guy you need? Like, do you go after a more vanilla guy at this point? Maybe from from a personality standpoint, like, you don't need a guy who's going to rally the troops to raise a bunch of money potentially. You don't need a guy who's I'm a take 3-star and make them fight. Like,
you need to win.
I think you can go safe. Can you go safer with the hire? A little less risk reward.
Potentially, yes. However, I think this was going to be a risk-averse hire anyway.
Fair. But like, you don't like Michael Vick isn't being hired, but like, you don't go after the guy who's going to rally the fan base like a Michael Vick. Like,
you don't go after, like,
you don't go for that guy.
To me, this eliminates a John Gruden type.
Exactly. There you go.
So that, I get what you're saying. And yeah, it eliminates those guys that's like, well, we don't have anything else, so we're going to swing for the fences. And it's like Alex, yes, we can't, there's a way to do it and not be overly risky.
Yeah. Like competing with some big boys for Alex Golish or John Summerall makes a lot more sense right now than it does being the only school who's willing to take Jimbo Fisher.
It doesn't change like my top 4 or 5 candidates because I never had a Gruden in my top 5 candidates, but
I think it changes Virginia Tech's bargaining ability here.
Oh, I mean, getting that info to Pete Thamel on the largest outlet. This is something that Dan, our good friend from Tales of the Terrordome, pointed out on Twitter, but it's true. Like, whoever leaked that info to Pete Thamel and basically got it on College Game Day, like, well done. Like that, that's huge.
How do you think Pete Thamel gets all of this information? Like, I know he has AI sources, but like, who's texting?
Pete Thamel is not alive. He is a college football robot created.
He's an omniscient cyborg.
Like, have you ever seen him talk? It's just like someone's just feeding information into the back of him and then like pulling on a string. And he's just saying,
legend of the game.
But yeah, I love a good Thamel bomb. And when I saw the Bruce Arians thing come down, I thought it was Thamel, but it wasn't. It was Nakos. So we got 2 Petes, and neither one of them are the best one, but they're both reporting the Lord's work right now for Virginia Tech. All right. Wford, Sam. Let's do a little Wford talk.
All right.
Offense looked good. we were moving the ball. Kyron Drones, dare I say, his best passing day of his career?
I mean, certainly his most efficient. He had 5 incompletions. 2 of them were drops. 2 of them were penalties on the wide receivers for just running out of bounds for no reason. And then the other one was a throwaway when he was scrambling away from pressure because the offensive line didn't correctly pick up the blitz. It was his most efficient and most accurate game. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, check down. He checked down a bunch. Wford was playing 2 high safeties. They were playing cover 4. Like, they were not letting his deep. He was making the right call. And with how Prelude was running, I'd keep dumping it down to him too. So I thought Kyron finally had some confidence building in this game. And he did it when he looked kind of beat up as well.
Oh, he was limping at one point, and I was surprised we kept him in as long as he stayed in, because he was in there until late into the fourth quarter, until they put Pop in. But to me, that was, they're trying to work on this offense still. I mean, we barely had a chance to work on it.
They really tried to build the confidence in this game.
But it was his best completions percentage ever for a single game at 84.4. It was his best passer rating in a game where he threw 20 plus passes at 185.6. Only his third 300-yard passing game. The other 2 were against Wake and Vanderbilt last year in that Vandy game. There were a lot of checkdowns, a lot of one-read stuff, but the wide receivers were open all day. And not just the wide receivers who caught it. Like, every wide receiver was open.
Yeah, I think it was every team since Virginia Tech played South Carolina was just beating them down the sidelines. Every team has kind of dropped back and said, we're going to make you drive down the field. And credit to Tech for just executing. They didn't do as much stupid shit this game, and that was nice. Again, like, every sentence we say right now, Pete, we can say, but it was Wford.
I know.
So this whole conversation, take with that asterisk. We know, you know, everyone knows. But it was nice to see them, like, succeed so much. I mean, that 52% success rate is really, really high.
If you are gonna play Wford, have the best passing day of your career.
Yeah.
And he did. And so, like, that's what you want to see. It's a lot better than him going 16 of 32 and not throwing 2 strikes for touchdowns, which were legitimate drone strikes. Like, they were really nice throws for the touchdowns. Yeah. So I was happy with what I saw at drones. I mean, it's not always pretty. The body language still isn't always good, but, like, hey man, 27 of 32. And like you said, 4 were mistakes by the wide receivers. And so it was nice to see 461 yards of offense as a team, 6.5 yards per play. 5 different running backs ran the ball, and none of them were Terrion Stewart. we can talk more about that later.
Dressed.
Yeah.
I think there is a lingering foot issue, and this is not the game to put him out there for.
We got a comment here from Trevor Erickson. UVA still having class on Friday. LOL. Is the Friday night game against Florida State? Is that what
it is? A Friday night game, yeah.
It's an academic institution, Trevor.
Yeah.
You got to keep that in mind. All right. On defense, they did what they needed to do as well. No touchdowns. One of the field goals was due to a penalty by Ben Bell, so that kept the drive alive. Otherwise, it probably would have only been 3 points. They only had 141 yards of offense against us, 2.8 yards per play for the Terriers, 4 sacks by our defense. Good, solid day. I mean, it was.
Yeah, it was a skeleton crew of a defense.
Yeah. Oh, tons.
I mean, the defensive backfield was totally new almost. I thought the defensive line played really well. That is maybe the worst offense Virginia Tech has played in quite some time. But
really,
you give them credit because that was not Virginia Tech starting 11 out there. I don't think once they had their best 11 out there.
If you're going to play the worst offense you've played in a long time and be missing half of your defense, I'd say 141 yards is very good.
Yeah,
like, that's really good.
Pete, we talked about, like, what would make you happy about this, what would show you. I think some fans wanted a little more than a 32-point win for that.
Didn't cover.
Tech probably should have scored in the 50s here. I mean, you had the 4th and 1 on the first drive that Kyron missed the read. It should have been pulled, or they should have changed it at the line of scrimmage. And then you had the touchdown throw to Donovan Green where he runs a bad route and leaks out the back of the end zone, so it's an illegal touching. And then you had another illegal touching at the end of the half where you're trying to drive down for a field goal. If you stay in bounds there, John Love has enough
it's
room
still
to
a
make that field.
sloppy ass
Like,
football team.
yeah, it's you still see some of these errors, but Tech could have very easily scored 50 plus in this game.
And that's how bad Wford is, that we probably should have. And that's what the
Yeah.
complaint was online, at least a few of them. But like, when
none
you asked
of
me,
it was really due to Kyron, I thought. I mean,
No.
the fourth down, he needs to be veteran enough to make the change at the line of scrimmage. Other than that, it wasn't Kyron all day.
no, the wide receivers, like, they're not coached that well.
No, they're not.
They're just not. And they haven't been for years. Look at our wide receiver crew from last year. Was that a well-coached group? They were talented. Look what Jay Lane did in the NFL. It was not a good, well-coached group last year. They weren't. And they're, again, not this year. They drop balls. They run out of bounds. And so there's plenty of blame to go around. You're not going to shake out all the sloppiness from Vandy and ODU in one game against Wford. But when we said what would be good on the score bug when I wake up on Sunday morning, and I said 40-7, well, 38-6 is pretty freaking close. So
yeah, I mean, this is about what I expected for best case scenario.
Yeah.
I thought. I mean, dude, a lot better than the Fuente FCS games.
True.
Like, they didn't do the milk the clock, run the ball thing that they did under Fuente.
They threw the ball 32 times.
And they went to this game was very much about building confidence for the guys and like seeing who wants to be here and play. Now, obviously, some guys you're not going to play in this game. And I think we saw the Caleb Woodson suspension game. But
if he ever comes back, do you think he's going to suit up again, or do you think he's going to hit the portal?
I mean, we've gone through all of Monday and we haven't had any news.
True.
I thought it would have been today, Pete. I thought we were going to have like 6 or 7 guys enter today, and it just didn't happen.
We will stay tuned for the rest of the week. We'll get to more of the stuff that happened in Wford. Of course, we're going to preview NC State. We got a big one down in Raleigh, man. Like, if this is the kind of game when we go down to Raleigh where if you're able to pull off a win, it could change the whole outlook for the season. I mean, it really could, because NC State, they can put up points, man. They got a good offense.
NC State's got a lot of pressure to win this game after a not great performance at Duke. Virginia Tech, zero pressure.
Zero pressure, yeah. All right, we'll get to that on our Too Deep show on Wednesday night. Sam, are you drinking any beer over there tonight?
I am. I'm about done at this point.
Yeah, it's
We've
been
been going for hour 45. We got a lot. We knew we were going to have a lot to talk about tonight. I had this last week, maybe week before. I don't know. But today's the first day of fall. It's the first day of Oktoberfest. The Bingo Beer Oktoberfest. Bingo Beer is a small brewery out of Richmond, Virginia, in the Scotts Addition area. It's a cool barcade that they have there as well. This is a fine Oktoberfest, 5.7% alcohol by volume. It's very basic Oktoberfest, gets the job done. Cheers to it, man. It's what you want from an Oktoberfest.
Hey, man, you're doing it. It's September, drinking Oktoberfest. One of our neighboring towns had their Oktoberfest this past weekend. They're going on all over the place. I highly recommend it. One of my favorite times of year is this fall time when everyone's drinking beer. I got a little bit of blood work tomorrow morning, so I'm not drinking. I'm having an NA right now. Bud Zero. I keep it in the fridge. That one, Corona, Guinness. Those are like the 3 that I go to in terms of NAs. I'm not a huge fan of the Athletics, although they did put out in October that I haven't had yet.
We'll keep in note when we get to race season here in a few months, and we need to not drink for a couple weeks beforehand.
Sam's got me covered tonight. All right, let's go to other notable games. TCU over SMU. We've already talked about it a little bit. Iron Skillet was fun. SMU had the lead in the 4th, but TCU scored in the next 2 drives. Jennings played well, despite not being really able to run because he's got some nagging injuries. 290, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 77 QBR. Hoover went off, though, as we said. And McAllister for TCU. 254 yards receiving. That's nuts.
Yeah, they're pretty nasty. SMU's defense is really bad. I think
it's really, really bad. Yeah.
I think they were a bit of a product of their schedule last year, and they had a lot of dudes on defense. They lost those dudes, were not able to replace them. So it's been a tough start for SMU.
Ole Miss crushed Tulane, and this one kind of broke my heart here,
It
Sam.
hurt, man. I mean, they couldn't do anything on offense.
No, we were both
Anything.
surprised by the way it went. We said it on our last show when we had our guest from Tulane on. We liked the plus 12.5. Well, it was over quickly. Chambliss looks like the real deal, man. 307 for him passing, 112 rushing, a 90 QBR, and Retzlaff was he was bad. He looked like a quarterback on a new team.
They looked a little sleepy.
Yeah.
And I understand you had such an emotional big win against Duke at home. I think they just looked out of it.
Maybe we should have seen that coming. I mean,
you can say that, but still 12 is a lot of points.
It is
in a game like this. And Tulane's a good team. They'll be fine. They'll finish with a very good record. Ole Miss, my opinion on them doesn't really change that much for this game, but this was just one of those games where one team was up for it and the other team just, for whatever reason, wasn't.
I mean, they were totally outmatched.
Yeah.
They really were. Vandy hung 70 on Georgia State to get revenge from last year. Vandy is straight up good, dude. Like, you don't score 70 on anybody easily. And Georgia State's like, they're not a dumpster. Like, they're fine. They beat them last year.
They're on like a William Wallace vengeful quest right now.
Even against us, who they beat.
I mean, dude, they look. Georgia State's not good, but they look unreal.
They do. They're better.
Diego Pavia could seriously win the Heisman this year.
Agree. If he gets a couple big wins in the SEC, which he'll have an opportunity for, like, he could. Arch flexes on a terrible team in Sam Houston State, 55-0. Texas
flex.
Longhorns.
I remember
Sam Houston is probably the worst team. Well, third worst team in FBS.
I remember a certain Heisman Trophy winning quarterback from Texas who did a bunch of flexing on Sam Houston State one game. So I'm not gonna poo-poo it. Go out there, have fun.
Oregon and Washington won the rivalry games, and I already said I got both covers wrong, and I think you did too.
You got to tease that down to 30.5. Know your football numbers, Pete. Come on,
I don't do any teasing. I'm picking in a pick 'em, man. I only got so much room to go.
Hand up. I straight up forgot to put my picks into the pick 'em last week.
You got to be kidding me, Sam.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
I knew it was going to happen one of these weeks. I knew it.
It's my bad.
It's
my bad.
Best QBRs of the weekend. Washington, DeMond Williams, number 1. Jaden Maeva, number 2. Will Hammond, number 3. Number 4, Sam. Similar to Colton Joseph last week, Chandler Morris, number 4.
They can sling it.
For us.
They can sling it. I mean, that game too was like Stanford scored to tie that game up, and it was like, oh, we might have a game here. And then, man, he can throw the ball. He can throw the ball.
Before we get to our playoff picks, I'll round up on the ACC. Bad weekend for the conference. UCF smacked UNC. Scott Frost is 16-0 in his last 16 games at UCF. All those bad juju from Nebraska, that's over, man. He's back in where he belongs, and they crushed Gio Lopez, who was terrible. 87 yards.
Belichick's gone. December 1st.
It's already over.
Yeah, December 1st, he's gone. Yeah.
Oh, I got a recommendation for an NA here.
Nice.
Pete, try
Stella
0.0. So at the Super Bowl last year, my buddy, he had to kind of stop drinking around halftime, maybe because of a significant other. He was pounding Stella 0.0s, and I did try one. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Yes, so UCF just crushed him. Taven Jackson was the complete opposite of Lopez in this game. He had nearly 300 total yards, 2 touchdowns, and 88 QBR. Yeah, the Belichick experiment is off to a terrible start and may not last much longer.
Yep.
With this and the JMU loss, I said that the Big 12 now moves to 6-1 versus the ACC. So that sucks. Also, a slap in the face was Cal getting shut out by San Diego State 34-0. What happened to our freshman phenom?
You just don't walk into Snapdragon Stadium and come out with a W.
Snapdragon Stadium.
This is like Cal might be who we thought they were.
They beat Minnesota, though. How do you follow up Minnesota with getting like literally blanked by San Diego State? Is this Sean Lewis?
Yep, Sean Lewis.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good coach. He's a good coach.
Very good coach.
They got 2 defensive touchdowns in this game. A 17 QBR for Sagapula Tele. So this was a coming back down to earth for him.
Yeah.
UVA whips fellow Dorks 48-20. Great job in the Dork Bowl. Morris threw for 380 and 4 touchdowns and ran for a 5th touchdown. He could be a problem, but we will find out later in the season. Duke gets on track versus NC State 45-33, 535 yards of offense for State in the loss.
NC State's defense is bad. Duke's defense
They had
is
4
bad.
turnovers too. 4 turnovers for NC State.
We'll get into NC State on Wednesday.
Yeah. All right, my playoff 12. Or Sam, do you want to go first?
Sure. Let's go. All right. So here's my
Couple
playoff 12. Little bit of change. SEC remains the same with Texas, LSU, Georgia, Texas A&M. The Big Ten, we keep the 3 that we've had for 2 years now: Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon. Welcome to the party, Indiana. I'm not going to sleep on it anymore. I think they're in here right now. The metrics on Indiana are going to be so big, it's going to be hard for the committee to keep them out. Indiana, you're in there. From the ACC, we have Miami and Georgia Tech. That stays the same. From the Big 12, Texas Tech stands alone right now. Was not overly impressed with Utah. I don't know if they're going to cover. I don't know if they're going to survive the rest of the season. And I'm not super impressed with the other teams I've seen in the Big 12, other than TCU, who might be really good. We'll see this weekend. And then from the G5, I flipped this the last 3 weeks. Memphis is the leader in the clubhouse right now. Got the stroke of luck that they needed this week. There's a lot of big games in the American, and a team not to sleep on. The North Texas Mean Green. They won it.
Oh my God. I meant to put Texas in my needs more attention segment. The North Texas team.
They won an overtime game against Army. Poor Army. 2 overtime losses already this season. They can play. They can score. They're fun. North Texas, a team to watch in the American Conference.
Great call. Great call on North Texas. Absolutely love it. And I love to see that you came over to my way of thinking. I did go over to your way of thinking on A&M a week ago. So they're still in my SEC teams. We have the same 4, I believe. Do we?
I got Texas.
You have Texas. I have
Tennessee.
I have Tennessee. 2 a different color of orange there. But yes, I've LSU, Georgia, A&M, and Tennessee. No changes because I simply don't know what's going to happen in the SEC right now, so I'm going to leave it. Oklahoma could be in here. I still worry about the end of their schedule, and I worry about Mateer being able to keep it up week after week after week, making everything happen. And so Tennessee stays in there. I like Tennessee a lot. Big Ten, I have not put Indiana in yet, but they are creeping. USC also creeping. And we're going to find out a lot about USC in the next 3 weeks. But Penn State, Ohio State, Oregon stay. Just 3 teams from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC. In the ACC, I kept all 3 because Georgia Tech took care of business against Temple, and Temple did get the cover on the most amazing of backdoors ever, driving down the field and scoring with no time on the clock, like when it was totally unnecessary. Love it. But Georgia Tech has a good shot to win 10 or 11 games. And if they do that, they're in. Florida State, they have Clemson and they have Miami. And otherwise, it's a pretty easy slate for them as well. Miami has probably my number 1 team right now. They've beat a bunch of good teams already. 3 very good quality wins. So Miami, FSU, Georgia Tech, all in as of this moment, though I could swap out one of them for Indiana or USC in the coming weeks. Big 12, I had to go to Sam's side on this one. He was on Texas Tech. He's had them in his playoff for a while. He did drop Utah out. I had to drop Utah out. They got the head-to-head win. Utah could win 10 games still. But what I saw out of Dampier, I really didn't like. Another loss at home for Utah. Texas Tech, a clear favorite now. We'll see about Arizona State. We will see. But right now, the lines of scrimmage for Texas Tech, they're my team from the Big 12. And Memphis, still my G5 team. No Notre Dame. No, the The game against Purdue did not impress me enough to get them back in here. They have no margin for error. I think they lose another game, and they're not in here. So 3 from the ACC, 3 from the Big Ten, 4 from the SEC, Big 12 1, and G5 1. So that's it for that.
Another team to watch in the Big 12 is Iowa State. They have that win against Iowa. They have a win against Kansas State. Just watch out for Iowa.
I don't think they're that good.
They might not be. They don't need to be that good. They just need to be a little bit better than their opponent.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true. So you were talking about this slate, Sam, for this weekend. Let's talk about it briefly here as we're closing out on 2 hours. Josh Pate put in he put up the slate on his tweets this week. But we got SC going to Illinois. We got Notre Dame at Arkansas. We got Ohio State at Washington. Very interesting game. LSU at Ole Miss. It just keeps coming. Auburn at A&M. Indiana at Iowa. God, Oregon at Penn State. Amazing game. And then Alabama at Georgia. Like, I threw 8 games at you. Which one or which 2 are you looking forward to the most?
8. Oregon at Penn State is going to be legendary. Man, I don't know. I don't know which one to choose. That's a crazy slate. Ohio State at Washington is really interesting because this is one that when I talked about why I was high on Washington, it was because they get Ohio State at home, they get Illinois at home, and they get Oregon at home. This is the first of those 3. And for Ohio State, this is their first test since the opener against Texas, where they didn't look super convincing. So that's a really interesting game for me. Washington has won now. I believe it's 22 consecutive games in Seattle. That's a really, really tough place to play. Bama, Georgia goes without saying. LSU, Ole Miss goes without saying. Those are great rivalry games. How many times have we seen a Big Ten favorite go on the road to Iowa and get knocked out?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's classic. If you know ball, then you know that's going to be a really tough game.
And it would be so college football for them to stomp someone 63-10 and then lose like 12-10.
Exactly. And Auburn coming off of the tough loss at Oklahoma, you got to travel back out to Texas to play Texas A&M. That's who's coming off a bye. That's a rough spot. And then USC is going to be playing at 10 a.m. West Coast time. So really, dude, Notre Dame better watch out for Arkansas.
Which dog here? And I think you know which teams are the dogs for the most part. I'm not sure who is in that Oregon game. I have to look that up. But like, which dog do you like here?
It's okay. So the dogs in this slate that we're looking at right now on YouTube is Illinois is a dog, Arkansas is a dog, Washington's a dog, Ole Miss is a dog, Bama, Oregon, Iowa, Auburn. If I had to pick one of these dogs to win outright, I think I'm picking Ole Miss.
Not Oregon.
If I was betting that game, which I'm not going to, I would take the points because I think they're 2 very, very good teams. So for the same reason, I would take the points Alabama against Georgia.
Yeah,
just 2 really good teams give me the points.
Yeah. Could Arkansas win this Notre Dame game?
Yes, they can. They could simply outscore them.
Yeah, dude, that is intriguing because Arkansas is not bad, and Talon Green is a superhero. And I know he messes up sometime, fumbles, interceptions, whatever. But like, if he's having that kind of day, does Notre Dame have the firepower like Memphis did? Like Memphis got back in that game because they can be explosive. Like I don't know if Notre Dame can be that explosive against an SEC team. Like we will find out.
Yep.
All right, that'll do it. I mean, and then there's more games. This is just like the best games, but there's a ton of fun ones out there. There's some good ones in the ACC. We got the Florida State and UVA. That'll be fun. The list goes on and on, but man, what a great show, Sam. We got Billy's perspective on a lot of different things. We talked teams that need more attention, which was a really fun segment. And you could kind of go on and on there too. I had probably at least 4 more teams I could have talked about, but I'm trying to see the weirdest matchup. We got Louisville going to Pitt this weekend in the ACC. We got Duke going to Syracuse. San Jose State going to Stanford. I know San Jose State has been massively disappointing, but could they not win that game?
They could.
All right. That's enough. Thank you for watching College Football Monday. We're doing great this year. The numbers have been better. we're getting a little traction in terms of the live streams, and then we post the clips, and they seem to be doing pretty well too. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is something me and Sam love to do, despite
Absolutely
taking a lot of legwork to get all this information ready and prepped and pick our playoff teams. But we love this shit, man. We really do. So make sure you're subscribed on Spotify. Set us up for automatic downloads on that and Apple Podcasts. Subscribe to the Sons of Saturday YouTube feed. Sons of Saturday. Check out what Billy and Pat have on their podcast feed as well.
If you've made it this far, put Razorbacks in the comments.
There you go. We're going to see if they can pull that upset and knock Notre Dame out of the playoff for good. In any case, until next time when we will be talking some NC State, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.